Good afternoon. I think almost everybody knows me, but I'm Ron Ludwig. I'm the current executive director of the Conflict Center, and I want to welcome you all here and kick off our 25th anniversary celebrations. Michael's going to talk to you a little bit more about the events that are going, the future event that's coming up, where we're also going to be celebrating. But 25 years ago, about this very time, Liz, come over here. Liz Loescher, our founder, and my really good friend, had just lost her job.
Among the unemployed.
But when she left, or when she lost the job, they gave her an enormous fortune in severance pay. Yeah, which she decided to invest in starting the Conflict Center. And a few years before she started that, there was a kind of rather famous American politician, I would say amazing statesman. Many of you, well, some of you won't remember him, but those of us who were around at the time will remember him. He was a very high-principled gentleman. His name was Spiro Agnew.
They don't remember him.
We do, yes we do.
Anyway, he said that in America we had a lot of, and I've got to remember this, nattling nabobs of negativism. And I have to count myself among those, because when Liz brought together a number of her friends to decide whether she should start a nonprofit, I discouraged her and said she'd do a lot better if she went out on her own and made a fortune, and then she could donate whatever she wanted to back to the community.
He and my parents thought that.
So Liz was right. She started the Conflict Center, and 25 years later, we're still doing the great work that she started. And it's just, last night, my wife and I had dinner with Liz and Mary Jen, and we were remembering some of those early days and just, the struggles that we had, but how much it's changed our lives. The four of us all talked about what a difference, even for us, especially for us, that the center has made. That we've changed the way we think about the world. And I was a negative, a nattering nabob of negativism for quite some time, but eventually it wore off, and now I'm very upbeat. And I'll give you a couple other examples. It's like part of our history. About 10 years after we got started, they decided to get a capital campaign going to get us the facility that we have. And I said, oh no, this property is just not anything that we ought to be managing. And I was wrong. I'm wrong a lot, and if you don't believe me, you can ask my wife. But I enjoy being wrong when things work out really well, which they do. And then a few years later, the second director, Michelle, decided that we should start an endowment campaign, and I said, oh no, that's not a good idea. And again, I was wrong, and we did that, and we now have endowment funds that are almost approaching $400,000. But it's been an amazing journey, an amazing trip. I've loved it. I definitely have changed. I'm much more upbeat. I believe in the future. I have a fabulous, fabulous staff that I get to work with, a wonderful board of directors, and a lot of volunteers and interns who really make this place hum and work and go. And we're doing amazing work. We're on sound financial footing, which I think in the economy that we've faced in the last 6 years. And it's exciting to know that we have a future. And when I started working with the Conflict Center 25 years ago, I actually was part of, there's a whole group of us who take great pride in saying I was part of the basement. And we still, in all of our grant proposals, all the messages that we send out, we always talk about we started in a founder's basement. And it's kind of a big thing of pride. Badge of honor and moment of pride for us. So, but when I started, I was considerably younger. I was about the same age that Michael was when he started with us a few years ago. I'm a little bit younger. At that time, I actually had hair, and the hair that I did have
We
was,
have pictures.
yeah, the hair that I did have was much, much darker. It was already gray, but it was much darker than it is today. But we do have a great future coming, and you know, I think it's very, very exciting. I certainly plan to be with the organization for several more years. I'm not leaving, and I hope that we can help, that I get to see how this future begins to be launched. But it's exciting times, and so again, I just really want to welcome everybody here. Michael's going to talk here in just a minute about the immediate things that we're doing and where we are organizationally. But I also want to tell you afterwards, make sure you go inside if you haven't already done so and register, sign up. There are some activities inside. There are posters and pictures of our past. There's a timeline. You can actually fill in information about where you were at that time. It's amazing to me. I've got new members of our board who were just inaugurated last week under the board who were probably just being born as the conflict center was being born.
I want you to introduce Jordan,
Yes,
who's the future.
yes, too. And part of our wonderful 25 years of history has included a sister organization, brother organization, anyway, a sibling that has been born in Georgia, thanks to Liz, and we actually have a representative who Jordan has worked at the Georgia Conflict Center, I think is still associated there, and is now going to school at DU to get a degree in conflict management from the Conflict Resolution Institute, where a number of my staff, interns, and people have come from. So it's really wonderful to see this all coming to fruition.